Some of you may be knowledgeable about the battle to legalize marijuana in the United States, and today I will be introducing some new facts to you about it. Marijuana is one of the most popular recreational drugs in the United States, and it has also been the subject of a long controversial battle as to whether or not it should be legalized federally instead of simply having it legalized in different states with varying laws. This topic is one you should care about because many people each year are unfortunately sent to jail simply for possession of marijuana in states where recreational use of it may be illegal, and it is only limited to to medicinal use there. And this is why it should be legalized, because no one should be going to jail for a drug that is harmless, such as marijuana. Because yes, there are negative side effects, but for the most part, it is not bad if you do not abuse it. I'm credible to talk about this topic because I've done research before presenting this speech to you all today, and I've made sure that I'm knowledgeable about it and I'm giving straightforward facts and nothing that is too biased. Hi, everyone. My name is Sid, and today I'll be talking about the effects marijuana can have on us, why the legalization of it has been such a controversial topic, and why I believe that it should be legalized all over the United States and not just limited to letting states have their own decisions as to whether or not it should be fully legal or not in their state. First, I'll talk about the effects of marijuana. Then I will discuss why the legalization of it has been so controversial, and I will finally talk about why it should be legalized all over the United States instead of just certain states. I will now talk about the effects of marijuana can have on us. So just like any other recreational drug, marijuana, of course, can have bad side effects on us, but if we use it within reason, then we do not have to worry about having bad side effects, and it can have good side effects on us too, such as for certain medicinal or recreational purposes. According to Eric P. Barron, Philippe Lucas, Joshua Eads, and Olivia Hogan, an article published on May 24th, 2018 for the Journal of Headache and Pain, a journal that is part of a scientific website that does peer-reviewed journals. It was found that doses less than 100 milligrams produce no effect, and while an oral dose of 200 milligrams of a cannabis extract called a cannabinoid administered during a migraine attack did help to decrease pain intensity by 55%, which was the dose used in phase 2. According to Kevin P. Hill, in an article from JAMA Network, regular marijuana use, which is associated with an increased risk of anxiety, depression, and psychotic illness, and marijuana use can worsen the courses of these disorders as well. So this evidence, I believe, is proof that using marijuana or any other related cannabis products can have positive medical effects on different people, and that we should not be so quick to say that using it will always have negative effects. However, using marijuana excessively can, of course, have bad side effects if we are not careful and with how much we use of it on a daily basis. So we need to regulate our use of it just as we would with any other type of recreational drug or any medicine or anything like that. Now that I've talked about the effects of marijuana, I will move on to why legalizing it federally has been so controversial. So, although many people may be in support of federally legalizing marijuana, there are a few reasons why doing this would be challenging and controversial. According to Joseph Bednar in an article published on October 29th, 2018 for Business West, a news website, there are currently no tests to determine if someone is incredibly impaired by marijuana, and there are also no sanctioned ways to measure the amount of THC which is in someone's system. So though legalizing marijuana may seem like a good idea to many people, of course, it could have side effects for different people if they aren't careful with their use of it, and it could possibly affect their performances at work, which would not be good for them or their coworkers or their boss. So this is why some people are hesitant as to why it should be legalized federally. And although there are several reasons for why people do not want marijuana to be federally legalized, I personally believe that my argument for why it should be federally legalized is better, because federally legalizing marijuana will lead to less arrests and more people will be able to use it for medicinal and or recreational purposes without having to worry about getting into any legal trouble about it. And now that I've discussed why marijuana legalization is controversial, I will now transition over to why it should be legalized federally. So Not only will federally legalizing marijuana cause less people to A, be arrested for using it, it can also have positive effects on people who use it for either medicinal and or recreational purposes, which is big because medical marijuana is now a very popular medicinal item in the United States, and many people have been asking to use it for different treatment reasons. So, according to Kevin P. Hill in an article from JAMA Network, a medical journal, last updated in 2016, despite the variability of evidence supporting various uses for medical marijuana, state policies suggest the use of it for many medical problems beyond nausea, vomiting, and anorexia. According to Craig Ross, Daniel Brooks, Ann Ashengrow, Michael Siegel, Janice Weinberg, and Lydia Schreier in an article published in January 2018 from Science Data, Science Direct, a database that gives access to scientific and medical publications. Following marijuana use, participants using marijuana to cope or conform to had a reduction in negative effect in those mean criteria for cannabis dependence disorder with psychological dependence had an increase in a positive effect. So given these two pieces of data, it is easy to see why marijuana should be legalized federally and not just in certain states. And of course, many people may disagree with this because of they may have had a negative experience with using it, or they think that it's just not something people should use, which is understandable. But personally, again, I do believe that legalizing it federally will help decrease the amount of people sitting in jail for possession of it, and that will greatly help, especially because many people of color, especially Black people, are unfairly arrested for having marijuana when they were not using it for any bad purposes. And now that I've talked about why I believe marijuana should be legalized federally, I will now begin to transition over to my conclusion. So, as my stated in my thesis, I would be covering the effects of marijuana, why legalizing it federally is controversial, and why I believe that it should be legalized federally. First, I talked about the effects it can have. Then I talked about why legalizing it federally is a debatable idea. And then I finished with why marijuana should be legally federalized. Thank you for listening to my speech today, and I hope all of you learned something new from it.